Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Johnson versus Lewis.
Thank you, Jerome.
You're welcome.
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
Ms. Johnson, you claim you have no doubts whatsoever that Mr. Lewis is the father of your 6-month-old daughter, Josiah. You say the only reason he doubts paternity is because he heard false rumors. Now, Mr. Lewis, you and your mother say it's not only the rumors that have caused you to doubt, but also an ex-boyfriend of Ms. Johnson's who claims he might also be the baby's biological father.
Yes.
So, Ms. Johnson, just explain to the court how this all began.
Well, it all started, me and Mr. Lewis was friends back in middle school, and then we stopped talking for a while, and then we met up again through Facebook. I had broke up with my ex, and then me and Mr. Lewis started dating in March of 2013, and I found out that I was pregnant in April, and that's how the whole story went.
All right, so you started to date him in March, and then by April, you were pregnant?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so in your mind, when you found out you were pregnant, you said it was?
I told Mr. Lewis that it was his baby.
All right, so Mr. Lewis, is this correct?
Yes.
And did you think you two were exclusive, or were you all just?
We was just friends at first. I knew she had a boyfriend, and when they broke up, that's when we started talking.
So in your mind, after they broke up is when you all started dating?
Yes.
Okay, and so next thing you know, she comes up pregnant.
Yes.
And she tells you.
Yes.
And when she tells you, what do you think?
When she first told me, I was excited. I actually broke down crying, tell my mom, because I ain't know how I be, because I ain't have my dad, so, and I ain't want no kid growing up like I did.
So, Miss Lewis, when you got this news, your son says he burst out crying and told his mother. How did you feel?
Well, I first found out through Miss Johnson. That's how I first found out that she was pregnant.
So you found out from Miss Johnson?
Yes.
How did you find out? Take me back to that.
She called me and told me that she was pregnant, and she told me, and I was like, so how do you know you're pregnant? And she said that she took the test, and I was like, okay. So I didn't say anything else. I just had to breathe.
So when your son came home and you talked to him about it, how did you feel?
He came to me, and he said, Mom, there's something I need to tell you. And I was like, well, what is it? And he said, you know, Miss Johnson's pregnant. She said, I'm the father. And he immediately broke down crying.
Did you feel like it was tears of joy or fear?
Both. I think it was both. And I told him, I said, well, you know, I raised you. You're going to do what you got to do. If this is your baby, you're going to step up. You're going to do the right thing, you know, and we'll go from there.
When did the doubt come in?
The doubt came in when I spoke with one of Ms. Johnson's family members. That's when the doubt came in.
Really? From her family member?
From one of her family members.
What did they say?
She had told me that my son could be the father, and she also said there could be others that could be the father.
Others, plural?
Yes. This came from her side. And it was more than one family. It wasn't just one family member. It was other family members. That's when I started having doubts.
So, Ms. Johnson, were you aware that members of your family told Ms. Lewis that there could be others?
Yeah, I was aware, but I don't know why he would listen to them. The whole time I kept telling Mr. Lewis that it was his baby, but he was still believing one of my family members.
Why would your family members say that about you?
Because they never want to see me happy with anybody.
Why? That's your family.
I don't know. Mr. Lewis and his mother called after I had the baby, and they called me cussing me out and stuff. And she was like, well, you should apologize to my son. And I was like, for what? Apologize for what?
So what happens during this pregnancy? Do you then still participate in the pregnancy? Are you going to doctor's appointments? Are you supporting Ms. Johnson?
We went to 2 doctors. I made sure he got to the doctor
He came
appointments
to like 3 or 4 of my appointments.
that he was aware of. Made sure he got there. After she had the baby, he found out through the relative that she had the baby. She had already had the baby maybe 3 days when we found out.
Wait a minute. So you say you had no doubt that he was the father of your child, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So why is it you didn't tell him when the baby was coming?
Because he was believing everybody else that the baby wasn't his, so I told him that it wasn't his. He wants to believe everything else, so.
Oh, I get your doubt. Your doubt is clear as the day is long. I get it. What I don't understand is your family is telling him that he's not the father. And I'm just not understanding this piece of the puzzle as to why they have this doubt. Why would they manufacture it? Or is it true? And you can tell it. We're here now.
It's not true.
It's not true. So why would they lie on you?
Because they don't never want to see me happy with it.
Why? Why? Why does your family not want to see you happy? A family is supposed to want to see their daughter, their sister happy. Why?
I don't know.
You just don't know. All your life it's been that way. Jerome, I don't think I'm ever going to understand this. I have tried my best today. If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Mr. Lewis, is that the only reason you have doubt?
I ain't start having doubts until I actually found out about her ex. He was calling me, telling me stuff. He was with her like the time we was together and I ain't know it.
So, Ms. Lewis, yes.
I made a status on a social network. The ex contacted me.
Wait, what did the status say?
It was something like in reference of my son, you know, finding out that he's a father to now finding out that he may not be the father. It could be somebody else's. So the ex saw my status and sent me a message. And come to find out, I know the ex because he's a friend of my godson's.
Oh, so he reached out to you and said what?
He reached out to me in an instant message and said, call me ASAP.
And you called?
And I called him ASAP. And he said, I read your status, and he said, you wouldn't happen to be talking about Ms. Johnson? And I said, yes. And he was like, wow. She told me that I was the father.
Really? Ms. Johnson, did you tell your ex that he...
One of my relatives told my ex that he was the father.
Your relatives, but you never personally?
I always told Mr. Lewis that he was.
You told Mr. Lewis that he was, but did you tell your ex that he was as well?
No, I didn't.
Your Honor, they were living together as of a couple of months ago.
Ms. Johnson and the ex?
And the ex had on social network.
But I had already had the baby. I had already had her.
Yeah,
that
I'm
was
saying,
this year when my ex was living with me.
Exactly, and he was on the network holding the baby, saying I'm daddy, with pictures. And I've spoken with him verbally more than once where he was, yeah, I'm the daddy. So he was like, I don't know what's going on.
So after your relatives told your ex that he is likely the child's father, did you and your ex have a conversation?
No. Mr. Lewis and my ex will always sneak on the phone with each other. I don't know what they talk about.
Sneaking on the phone together.
Absolutely.
But they obviously got a lot to talk about. They both think they're the father of the same child. Mr. Lewis, you got on the phone with her ex?
One day, I think it was in March, we had a three-way conversation. She didn't know I was on the phone, and I actually heard her. He asked her who's the father between me and Derek, and I heard her say, I don't know.
Okay, let me hear that again. You were on the phone.
Yes, he had me on mute.
You were on mute.
Yes, and I
And
heard.
you're just listening in. And Miss Johnson didn't know you were on the phone.
Yes.
And the ex was on the phone.
Yes.
So this is a three-way call.
Yes. And he asked her who's the father between me and Derek, and she said, I don't know.
Do you remember that conversation, Miss Johnson?
No.
Okay, let me ask you point blank, because this is why we're here today. You have this beautiful baby. You say Mr. Lewis is the father. They don't believe he's the father. Your ex is claiming he's the father. Do you know Do you know which man is the father of your child? Do you really know?
I mean, to me, she looks like Mr. Lewis.
So are you basing it just off of looks? Or let's think about the biology of it all. Let's think about the window of conception. Is there a possibility that either man, take the looks out of it, is it a possibility that either man could be her father?
Well, the possibility is Mr. Lewis. He could be the father.
So, I have to understand, why would this ex-boyfriend, even if your family told him something, if you looked at him and said, no, my family's wrong, Mr. Lewis is the father of this child, it is not your child, why would he take it upon himself to get on three-way conversations on social media? What is his point?
Because they used to always try to set me up.
Who?
Mr. Lewis and my ex.
Your Honor.
But no, Mr. Lewis is saying that when he was on mute, he heard out of your mouth that you didn't really know which man was the father. Have you ever said that before, that you didn't know which man was the father?
No.
I actually heard her say that when the whole started, like I thought she was mine until December. That's when I started having doubts. And then he told me himself that she was telling people it's his. And then she was telling people it was mine when I was around her.
Your Honor, when I spoke with Ms. Johnson, this was after she had the baby, she was at home, they was on the phone first, arguing. He had spoke with the relative, then spoke with her on the phone, and then he got upset, and I said, give me the phone. Maybe I can talk to her. And I said, what is going on? Is Derek, the father? And she was like, no. I mean, had a real attitude, was real smart with me.
Now, she did just admit to that in court. That's what you're talking about, right?
After the baby was born.
And I asked her, I said, why would you do that? I said, my son done went through over a year of being told that it was his, to being told that it ain't his, to being told that it could be yours or somebody else's. My son has been through it emotionally, which I've been through it emotionally, coming to church, coming up for prayer, falling down at the altar, then come to find out after the baby's born, it's not yours. So after that's over with, I had to deal with that with him. Then we don't hear nothing else from Ms. Johnson. Then out of the blue, she contacts him in March.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you might want to go get checked. It's between you and somebody else. So now here we go again.
Like I haven't even seen the baby. Like I was struggling. Like I wanted to see her, and then
You've never ever seen Josiah?
no, I was
Never held her?
My concern right now is the baby. Bottom line is the baby.
Absolutely.
And I have nothing against Ms. Johnson, but my thing is, for me, I couldn't get attached. She did
you felt
invite.
like you just couldn't even
I couldn't do it.
Cross that threshold.
I couldn't do it.
Okay, so now Mr. Lewis and Miss Lewis, you submitted these photos to the court, and that's Josiah on the left, and that's Mr. Lewis as a baby on the right.
Yeah.
And when you look at these pictures,
Like I think she kind of resembled me. Like she looked like me and my mom.
you too, Miss Lewis?
I see the resemblance, but emotionally and spiritually, I just couldn't go there until I definitely knew that that was my grandbaby.
Your Honor, I just
And
wanna-
you submitted these pictures of you as a child. So that's Josiah on the left, and that's you as a baby on the right.
I just want to find out if she mine. If she mine, like I'll be there. I just want joint custody, and I want her to have my last name. Like, cause I ain't gonna have no kids.
She's not getting your
like me.
last name.
I commend you for that. Well, I think we're ready for the results. Jerome? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you want to watch Paternity Court on TV? Go to paternitycourt.tv to find your local listings. Thank you.
You're welcome.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Johnson v. Lewis, pertaining to 6-month-old Josiah Johnson, Mr. Lewis, you are Josiah's father.
Can I see my daughter?
How you feel, Miss Johnson?
I feel good.
Feel vindicated?
I feel sad
You feel sad? Why?
because he haven't seen his daughter.
Can I give her a hug, you wanna?
Yes, you may. Is that okay? Aw. Is it okay, Miss Johnson, if Mr. Lewis and Miss Lewis see beautiful baby Josiah for the first time?
Yes.
Great. I'll see you in my chambers. Court is adjourned. Beautiful.
Here's your daughter.
Hey, hey. Hey.
Oh my goodness. I don't think she could get any more beautiful. Look at it. How's it feel, Daddy?
Really good. We finally got the answer, so I've been waiting for.
I wish you all the best of luck.